Hello, heroes of Bayview, and welcome to our fourth chat. Uh, I believe we're on number 4. So, a couple of things we're going to talk about today, really briefly. One is where we are with our PPP loan. Uh, the second thing we're going to talk about is staff testing and what's happening on that front. And then the last thing is our drawing. So, PPP, I unfortunately we're still in that same pattern. We're waiting for our application to go through. So we're still in a holding pattern with US Bank and Small Business Association Administration, excuse me, that's who is overseeing the PPP package. And to remind you, if we get the PPP loan, then we'll be able to raise our hazard pay for staff. So we sure hope we hear something by the end of this week, but we don't know. So that's where we are with PPP. On to our second point today, and that is around testing. So Department of Health has reached out to Bayview. They'd like to come in and test all of our skilled nursing residents. There's a big push nationally as well as statewide and locally for all nursing home residents to get tested. So we gave it some thought. There are pros and cons to testing. Some of the cons are the tests are not 100% accurate, so there are false negatives and false positives. The tests can be uncomfortable because they put a swab up pretty high up the nasal passage. And if you test negative, that means you're negative at that time, but the next day or the next hour, you could be exposed and then be positive. So, testing isn't perfect yet, but it's the right thing to do because what testing will do is uncover any asymptomatic positive residents. So that can help us be even more careful than we're already being in knowing who actually has the virus. So that's going to happen early next week. Now, if a resident tests positive at Bayview, what that means is there's a whole protocol that we'll follow to make sure that that resident is properly quarantined and all of the right protocols are followed and departments are contacted and we have a whole plan in place. But it also means that skilled nursing center staff, so any staff that work in the health center, will then also be tested by Department of Health. So we're hoping that doesn't happen and that all of our residents are going to test negative. But if we get even one positive resident, again, this is only for skilled nursing, then the next phase would be skilled nursing staff will be tested. And if that were to happen, you'll get a lot more information about that. And it's voluntary, and there would be no reprisals from Department of Health or Bayview if you would prefer not to be tested. And as always with the screening, when you come to work, if you're not feeling well, you go home and you call your doctor. Nothing changes around that. If you don't pass the screening, you go home. All of that stays the same. We're hoping that no staff need to get tested, but that could happen. So again, there will be more information as we march down that road. And the last thing with testing is it can save lives because again, it can show us a person who is positive for COVID-19 but is not showing any signs or symptoms. So that allows staff and other residents to be better informed and better prepared. So it's the right thing to do. Okay, now on to the fun. Our weekly drawing of $25 cash this week to 2 Bayview superheroes, our heroes of Bayview, just because you're a Bayview employee and you make us proud every day. We're doing our second drawing. Congratulations to last week's winners, and that was Juanita Romarante and Mark Dion. So we're very proud and happy for both of those folks. Juanita works in assisted living and Mark works in dining services. So let's come on over to my computer and see who this week's winners are. All right, here we go. We're going to pick a random name. All our staff are in here. Here we go. Who's it going to be? Lee Andrew. That's Lee Nearing, who works night security for facilities, and he has been an employee for a very long time. So congratulations to Lee. And now let's pick the next one. Kelsey Krager. Congratulations to Kelsey. We will be finding Lee and Kelsey and delivering the $25, and we'll see who wins next week. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.